Apple just held their WWDC keynote with updates to all their software. In all the big news, there was one small detail that made me excited as a wheelchair user. Welcome to my channel, my name is Conrad, and today we're looking at maps from an accessibility point of view. On this channel, I have mostly done gaming content so far, but I am also interested in tech, and especially tech that can improve the everyday life of people with disabilities. I myself broke my neck a few years ago, so I can't feel or move my fingers, for example, or anything below my chest. Being a wheelchair user in everyday life has its ups and downs. For example, I'm always bringing my own chair. Have you ever been to a barbecue or a party and been annoyed that there are no more chairs to sit on? Well, if you have a wheelchair, you don't have to worry anymore. On a more serious note, concert seats are usually pretty great, and skipping lines at the airport security is honestly amazing. On the other hand, one of the bigger hurdles is dealing with places that are not wheelchair friendly. Personally, I don't really mind that everything is not wheelchair accessible, because I'm at peace with the fact that there are things that I just can't do. And I know for a fact that there are other wheelchair users out there that feel the same way as I do. The problem itself is actually finding out if a place is accessible or not. So, for example, I live in Stockholm and most of the inner city is quite old. This means that if I ever go to a new place, I usually have to look it up before I can actually go there. Let me show you my process of planning any trip. Let's say I'm in LA and I want to spend a day on Hollywood Boulevard. In addition, I would like to eat some lunch at Hard Rock Cafe. A side note here before I begin is that I've been to the US multiple times and like 99% of the places are accessible anyway, so I rarely check on the places beforehand actually. So what I would do is to open up Street View, get a little general feel for the area, maybe walk down the street I'm planning on taking, checking the curbs of the crosswalk. Are they faced? If not, are they low enough for me to get over easily? At the restaurant, I check the entrance to see if there are any stairs or anything that will make it hard to enter. And it looks pretty good here to me. If I still feel unsure, then I would either email or call the place just to double check that everything is fine. And if you're really lucky, you can find reviews about the place from other wheelchair users. As you can see, it can take some time, and it's quite hard to be straight up spontaneous. And after all this research that you have done, it is still not guaranteed that the place is actually accessible. Let me give you an example. So I was in Paris with my girlfriend and we wanted to go to the Triumph Arc. Everything online said it was accessible and there was an elevator and everything just seemed good. But when I got there, I realized that there is actually no way to get to the arc itself, because the arc is surrounded by like a huge roundabout, and to get to the middle of the arc you have to go down some stairs, through a tunnel, under the road, and then up some stairs again. In addition to this, I also later found out that the elevator doesn't even go all the way up. Now imagine if I knew beforehand, when I went there, that there were stairs that I have to take. I introduced to you the new Maps update in iOS 14. This has a feature for bicycle users that shows their rise and fall in elevation, and also if there are stairs en route. Now, both of these things are amazing features for wheelchair users. I can roll up a hill as long as it's not too steep. Knowing the elevation beforehand makes it so much easier to plan a route. But when it comes to stairs, I have rolled down a road so many times just to realize that I have to take a huge detour because there's a stair blocking my route. In addition, I risk getting lost since the maps won't guide me through a detour as it only shows the fastest route. Now, Google Maps already has this feature where you can see the elevation over your whole route. You can even put your cursor over the elevation and track the whole route and see where the actual hill is. Now, on the phone you can't trace it the same way, but at least you can see the overview of the elevation. Furthermore, under Transit we have the option to filter for wheelchair-friendly transport. It would be interesting to know the criteria for what is considered wheelchair-friendly, as I have never really used this feature myself. This is not to compare the two apps, but rather to show everyone what's out there and available right now. But the reason I got excited about the bicycle feature on the Apple Maps is because Apple has a long history of making amazing software adaptations for people with a variety of disabilities. Some honorable mentions are, for example, the wheelchair push tracking feature for the Apple Watch, where Apple gathered data from wheelchair users to make the Apple Watch able to detect when you are pushing your chair. and then count those pushes towards your fitness tracking app. Then we have the option to use your iPhone completely without hands. Can you imagine the time and money that goes into developing a feature like this? My last example is another iOS 14 upgrade. Now your iPhone is able to identify sounds around you. Imagine for example that you are deaf and you left the water running or your child is crying, but the problem is that you just can't hear it. Well, now your iPhone can notify you of these things happening. The thing is, Apple makes some great software updates to aid people with different kind of disabilities, and most of these things they don't even market. I mean, just look at all the available options here under accessibility. For now the update to Maps is for bicycles, but it would not surprise me if they build upon this and make a new feature for wheelchairs. My guess is that we will have to wait for iOS 15 though, for an update this big. But for now, you always have the option to use the bicycle feature in iOS 14 when it becomes available in your city. If this is ever released, there are a few features that I think should also be included. For starters, the option to not only see the elevation, but also to be able to set the maximum slope angle for your route. This way, the map app can guide me around those hills that are just a little bit too steep for me. Another feature would be to only take crosswalks with sloped pavements. In some places, the height difference between the sidewalk and the road is just too high for me to be able to cross the road. A final idea would be to see all the available accessible bathrooms near me. This would honestly change my life. I don't care if it's the nearest fast food place or if it's a public toilet, I don't care. The thing is that sometimes finding an accessible bathroom is just such a huge struggle. Again, all of these things will take time and money to develop. However, all of these features are not just for wheelchair users. A lot of other people will find these features useful as well. An example would be a parent with a stroller who wants to avoid carrying the stroller up a few stairs. Older people might also want to avoid stairs and hills that are too steep. And literally every single person would benefit from knowing where the closest bathroom is. I have studied software design for people with disabilities, and during those classes I learned about the design concept called universal design. The idea is that if you design something for users with disabilities, then that same design will improve the experience for users without disabilities as well. So if you're a developer, please don't look at accessibility as a waste of time and money. Rather, use it as a tool to improve the experience of your product. So now, I pass the question on to you. What kind of accessibility features would you like to see in a coming update? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, with all that said everyone, if you want to know more about me, for example the story about how I got injured, I will have a link to that video in the corner up here somewhere, and there will also be a link in the description down below, together with links to all my social media. I do also stream on Twitch, so if you're interested in gaming with disability, then feel free to follow me on Twitch. The link, together with my schedule, is in the description down below. And also feel free to drop by if there are any questions you want me to answer live. Otherwise, if you have any questions or any ideas or anything, just put them down in the comment section down below, and I will answer them all. So you already know the rest. Press like if you like the video, subscribe for future content, and hit that cute little bell if you never want to miss out on another video again. I hope that you all enjoyed the video, and please everyone, stay safe during these uncertain times.